রাখিহ চরণে মোরে, রাখিহ চরণে মোরে, আপনার বলে রাখিহ চরণে মোরে, আপনার বলে গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি মোরে দয়ানাচারি গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি দয়ানাচারি আপনা করিয়া রাঙা, আপনা করিয়া রাঙা চরণে রাখিয়া, আপনা করিয়া রাঙা চরণে রাখিয়া গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি মোরে দয়ানাচারি গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি দয়ানাচারি तुम्हारा चरण लागी, तुम्हारा चरण लागी सब त्यागी, तुम्हारा चरण लागी सब त्यागी शीतल चरण पाया, शीतल चरण पाया शरण लय, शीतल चरण पाया शरण लय गौरांग तुम्हें दयानाचारी गौरांग तुम्हें मोरे दयानाचारी वासुदेव घोषे बोले चरण धरिया, वासुदेव घोषे बोले चरण धरिया कृपा करी राखो मोरे, कृपा करी राखो मोरे पद छाया किया, कृपा करी राखो मोरे पद छाया किया गौरांग तुम्हें दयानाचारी गौरांग Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hare Krishna. Thank you for all joining. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Apitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanitam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschatadeshatarine Vancha Kalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhubhayeva Patitanam Pavunebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna. Oh, Mother Krishna Kanti is here with whole bunch of friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see already house is full. Thank you for joining. So today is our first day, today is our second day, beginning with continuing SriMati RadhaRani's glories. And Akhilatma Prabhu very nicely spoke yesterday. He laid the foundation so I could now walk on that. So thank you for that. And in the beginning, I'm begging blessing from all of you and Pracheta Prabhu too. He reminds me of my old age. We are a good friend. So, and thank you, Mother Vishnupriya, for helping me so much with these studies. So in the beginning, we inquire, why do we need to study about SriMati RadhaRani? There must be some impetus. So as we read recently in Act of Devotion, I'm going to just repeat that, and you have to be aligned with it. And if you have some more to add it, you can raise hand and add it. Srila Prabhupada says, everything you test in this world, there has to be a testing measurement tool. How do you measure? What do you want to measure? All the measurement is standardized by these three aspects, Sat Chit Ananda. You want to hear something, you like it. You do something, you feel good. Is it? You, just like if the Super Lotto company call you, that did you buy this number? This number you see in the TV and you just clicked it. Yes, you got $76 million. How do you feel? You didn't touch the money, it's just the news. You feel so happy. Wow, $76 million. So if you look at in your life, what you are looking for, you ask yourself first. Well, who am I? Why I'm here hearing about SriMati RadhaRani? Who is RadhaRani and what I got to do with it? Well, first you ask what you are actually need. What do you need? As Prabhupada gives us some guidance, he says, no one can live without loving someone. Very sweetly he put it. And he says, in the primary stage, each of us, we can reflect. Can you all see also? When you are born, what did you know of the world? Nothing. Just the breast milk of mother. You didn't even know you have a brother, sister, or a house. You just knew the breast milk of mother and yourself. That's it. That's the child. That's called Annamaya. Annamaya means this depend on the livelihood. Annamaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, Manomaya, then ultimately Anandamaya. So these 5 stages of Brahmapucham, when we search, we can understand where is SriMati RadhaRani's position. How desperately we need that. So Srila Prabhupada said, no one can live without loving someone. So when the child is born, he sees his mother's breast milk is everything. Then when he grows bigger, then he sees he has a house, he has a brother, he has a sister. Wow. Then he finds out he has a family. And then he finds out he has a society, community, country, nation. Wow, he goes on. And then he explores, he has a human society. But the loving propensity is not satisfied. Be honest, reflect and be honest. That your loving propensity is not satisfied even by loving all the human society. That loving propensity remains imperfectly fulfilled until we know the supreme beloved is Krishna. Love can become all-embracing, as Prabhupada said, when we understand that Krishna is the supreme beloved. He is the root of all creation. By embracing Krishna, successfully one embraces everybody. Just like Bhagavatam gives, pouring water to the root of a tree, you nourish the whole tree. What got to do with Radharani? That absolute truth. I'm going to ask Mother Krishna Kanti a question. Are you ready? Good. Just think, what is the difference between two dual house under one umbrella, or two supreme form under one absolute truth, or one absolute truth has a two dual form versus two form of absolute. Is there any difference? You live in America. Do you know the duplex house? Duplex house means they have a common wall and they have a common roof. So if something goes wrong on the floor, it will affect both room, both house. Duplex means there is a middle wall, it separates two houses, but they have a common floor, common roof. So when Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur says that one absolute truth has a dual form, try to understand this. One absolute truth, Radha Krishna oiche sada eki sarup, lila ras asadite dhare dui rup. It is not that there is a two concept of God, Shakti Shaktiman. Yes, it is there. But the first Tattvagata Vichar means they are one. One absolute truth has a dual form versus absolute truth has a two form. What's the difference? What will be the difference, Mother Krishna Kant? It's very technical. Means one absolute has a dual form, it's inseparable. You cannot separate Radha and Krishna into two, but they are eternally also two. But in their Tattvagata Vichar, they are one. So that has to be understood. Very good. Now, to get this Radha's Prem, or ultimate understanding of Krishna Prem, I'm going to ask you first, what do we need in our life? We need a living guru. And why do we need a living guru? To understand Radharani and Krishna. Because Krishna himself says in Bhagavatam, Nirapeksham munim shantam bimatsara samadarshanam anubrajami aham nittam pujet angri renubi. That wherever you are, in order for you to come to this realm of Radha Krishna's divine love, you have to accept a guru. By the foot dust of that guru, your heart will be purified. And then you can enter into Radha Krishna's domain. Otherwise, Radha Krishna's topics or all the subject matter will slip through. You'll go back where you come from. I was enjoying life with my family or business or material world. We'll go back where we come from. So we have to bathe in the foot dust of Guru. Then Krishna says, you will enter into this realm, mysterious realm of Radha Krishna's divine service. Now, let me ask you a question. It's something topics in ISKCON is floating right now. Not floating, it's a hot topics. I made a question on that. Should women become guru? Wait a minute, Prabhu, you're talking about Radharani. How did you come up with should women become a guru? Well, because this is related to Radharani. And if you have a Chaitanya Charitamrita, look at this verse. Adilila chapter 4, text 125. Kasmad brinde priyasaki hare padamulat kutasma tundaranna kimiha kurute nitya shiksham guru kaha tam tam murti pratitoru latam digbidikshu spuranti Shaileshu Brahmati Parito Naptayanti Shapaschat. This is a conversation between SriMati RadhaRani and Brinda Devi. RadhaRani, in a deep separation feeling, asking Brinda Devi, Kasmat Brinde, oh Brinde, where are you coming from? So Brinda Devi is answering, Haro Pado Mulat. I'm coming from the feet of Sri Hari. Then he says, Kudosho, where is he? And then Brinda Devi answered that Kunda Aranya means forest. In the forest on the bank of Radhakund. Then Radharani is asking, Kim Kurute, what is he doing? Then Brinda Devi is answering, Nitya Shiksham, he's taking lesson about how to develop love. And he's learning how to dance. Who is talking? Krishna is talking with Brinda Devi. And then Radharani is saying, who is the guru? Who is the master teaching him? Kim Kurute, Nitya Shiksham, Guru Kaha. Radharani says, who is Guru? Guru Kaha. Then Brinda Devi says, your image, you Radha, your image revealing itself in every tree and creeper in every direction is roaming like a skillful dancer, making Krishna dance behind. So Radharani as a female her love is the guru of Krishna's paramour dancing pastime. It's very interesting. Such a divine potency Radharani has. He teaches how Krishna should dance. So with the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, I'm going to start with the question that what Mahaprabhu came to give. We should remember Mahaprabhu came to give 4 things. How many? 4 things Mahaprabhu came to give. Where is recorded? It's in Chaitanya Chandramrita text 130. I love that verse. I always recite that verse whenever I'm alone in my car or somewhere. Prema nama adbhuta artham sravana pathagata kasyanamna mahimna Koveta kaisya brindavana vipina mahamadhurishu pravesha Kova janati radham paramarasa chamatkar madhurjo simam Ekas chaitanya chanda parama karunaya sarvam avishchakara. So Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur write, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give 4 things. I want everybody to remember this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give how many things? 4. Very good. Not 5 finger. 4. Good. 1. Prema nama adbhuta artha. The definition of ultimate goal is love of Godhead. The definition before Mahaprabhu came was dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Nobody knew about prema, braja prema. So first thing he says, prema nama adbhuta artha. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give, first thing is, ultimate goal of braja prem is our ultimate goal. Second, Sravana pathagata nam mahimna. Until Mahaprabhu came, I don't know in the audience how many are born Brahmana. I was not born Brahmana. So if you are not Brahmana, you could not chant the mantra. It is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu changed the mantra. It was Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Mahaprabhu changed it to Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu changed it and he braided. Say Dware Achandale Kirtana Sanchare Nama Prema Malagati Paraila Sansare. He braided the holy name with the love of God. You know, braided like the Mataji's hair, they braid like this. So Mahaprabhu put the love of Godhead and the holy name, love of Godhead and holy name. Now you may say, if Mahaprabhu gave the love of Godhead and he garlanded the whole world, everybody must be in love of Godhead. Yes, if you are inside the world. But that's not enough. Yes, Pracheta Prabhu.
Yes, I don't remember the quote exactly, but I was listening a lecture from Amarendra Prabhu other day, and he was describing about the chanting and the holy name. He did mention very clearly and emphasize on that for quite some time that Mahaprabhu did not change the holy name from Rama to Krishna, and he proved that from different scriptures. So I was just wondering, can you explain on that if you can?
Sure.
Thank
you. Sure. Because if you look at now, you will not find the trace. He is correct from his angle. But he did not know before Jiva Goswami what was in that Kali Santaran Upanishad, what is written. Kali Santaran Upanishad was not even written format before Jiva Goswami Path. It was on a engraved. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy that couple of sannyasi was tracing record that it is Jiva Goswami Path, he's shown that how Mahaprabhu changed it. But if you look at now Kali Santaran Upanishad, you will not find it. It's written Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So both are correct. It's only question of time adjustment. When our ISKCON sannyasis, they speak that is also correct. Both are correct. So Mahaprabhu, Prema and this Prema Sankirtan, as King Pratap Rudra was inquiring from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, that is recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that's the second thing Mahaprabhu came to give. And the third things, it says, Ko betta kasya brindavana vipino mahamadhurishu pravesha. Ko betta. Who knew Vrindavan before Mahaprabhu came? Vrindavan was there. In the Shastra, the name was there, but it was not revealed. It was not revealed that it can be for every Kali Yuga Jiva entrance there. Because before Mahaprabhu came, the spiritual goal was like a beautiful lotus petal just taking the budding form. Then the Vyasdev came, he started to opening it. And then 4 acharyas came and they bending the petals. When Mahaprabhu came, completely blossomed. Before that, nobody could see it. It was there, but nobody could see it, that prem. If you are in Satya Yuga or a Dapur Yuga or any other Yuga, you would never be able to see it. But in Kali Yuga, because of Mahaprabhu, it's blossomed completely. That concept of Vrindavan. What is that concept of Vrindavan? Where the Modiya mood is taking place. That Krishna is mine and the Supreme Godhead forget his godness, godhoodness. The love is such an extreme level that actually love makes God forget his God. There is no such thing before. That God forgets God, it's only happened when Mahaprabhu revealed it. Before that, worshipping of God and bhakti was there. But bhakti rasa was not there. There is a fine line between bhakti and bhakti rasa. When Prabhupada was asked, how did you came up with this International Society for Krishna Consciousness? Why Krishna consciousness? Why not God consciousness? Akshayananda Maharaj asked, it's in the database, you can see. And then Prabhupada answered that I got it from Rupa Goswami Pad's Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that sloka. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati Kriyatam Kutopi Labhate. Krishna Bhakti Rasa. What is the difference between Bhakti and Bhakti Rasa? In a short, Bhakti means you are surrendered, then you are offering everything. Without surrender, without initiation, if you offer to God, it is not Bhakti. Bhakti means you have to give yourself first. Then whatever you offer, Krishna takes it. Then Bhakti began. That is required. That means, but that doesn't mean like if somebody is following Prabhupada's book, Prabhupada instruction, they are already following Prabhupada. You follow? They already accepted Shiksha Guru. They need to mature more to get Diksha Guru. But that is, then Krishna is already accepting. So that has to be understood like that. So, but you offer to everything to God, that is bhakti. But you never really making Krishna hungry for you to please him through your breast milk like Mother Jashoda. She is giving breast milk, that is bhakti rasa. It is no more bhakti, it's above bhakti, more than bhakti. That concept that Krishna needs coward boys to play with him, that God needs you to be part of his happiness, that concept was never there. So Bhakti Rasa came after Mahaprabhu came, through Rupa Goswami. And the last one is, Koba janati radham paramarasa chamatkara madhuram madhurja simam. Koba janati radham paramarasa chamatkara. The ultimate concept of dedication, loving sentiment that exhibited by Radharani was never ever revealed to this world before Mahaprabhu came. So everybody remembers the four things. First is the goal of life has changed. Second is that the holy name is endowed with love of Godhead. Third is the glory of Vrindavan. Fourth is SriMati RadhaRani's glorious service. This fourth thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Every day we are going to touch base a little bit. Then comes Tattvagata Vichar. Today we are going to discuss Tattvagata Vichar, and I would ask Mother Vishnupriya or Gopal Radhe Prabhu, whoever has that slide, to put it up in the screen so other can see, and then I'm going to explain how to understand Krishna Lila. Oh.
Is it this one?
No, I'm talking about the script.
Which one? Sorry.
Script. The script writer.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, here.
So I'm going to give you a general idea. It will help. It helped me. It helped many devotees. Chaitanya Chan Prabhu also emphasized this. Very nice. Many devotees actually likes that concept. That absolute God subordinate, this is the title, absolute God subordinate his divinity for the sake of intimacy. This was never revealed to the world. That absolute God subordinate his divinity for the sake of intimacy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Antolila 2.81, he greatly influenced by the love of his devotee, and he exhibited this. Therefore, wherever there is a pure devotion of the Lord himself subdued by such love. appears and his devotees sees him. Now question comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila also explains, Ichha Shakti Pradhan Krishna, Ichha Sarva Karta. Jnana Shakti Pradhan Krishna, Vasudeva Adhishtata. Now we should understand this, that when we talk about Krishna, he desires this concept of Braja Prem, and nobody ever had any clue about that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the 3rd chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, Ama bina anna nare Braja Prema dite, Juga Dharma Prabhayatinus. Ama bina anna nare Braja Prema dite. In other words, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declaring that without him, nobody can give this Braja Prem. Everybody try to understand that, okay? So then the concept of God, this is very important. Concept of God is talked about in different theistic part of the world. But that concept is usually quite vague. I'm not just saying it, I practically also tested it. I literally interviewed with different group of theologians like Mormons, Jehovah's Witness, Christian, difference, just to understand where we stand, where their concept of God stands. So concept of God is taught in different theistic part of the world, but that concept is usually, when you compare to Krishna consciousness, is vague. What to talk about those are connected with God. Only Krishna consciousness tradition give full-fledged about God, his speciality, his parshad associates, his abode, his paraphernalia, his parikar, vaishishta, all this. What he does. First of all, if you ask any religion, let's go out right now, ask 10 people on the street. Can you tell me what God does right now? Or what is God's activity? See if you get an answer from anyone. It's almost impossible. In Krishna consciousness, God is defined as one absolute, which is constituted with divinity of masculine and feminine together. Everybody got it? This is the only, I was in the airport last year in November, and as we were boarding, I said, anyway, we started talking, and there happened to be this gentleman sat next to me. And so he was a UF minister of the Methodist Church, and I had a shaved head and saffron cloth. He said, oh, you are the Hare Krishna, so you are in the campus, I see a lot of Hare Krishna. I say, yes, we have a big center there. And he has a church. So we started talking a little bit. And he said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Austin. And I'm going there because we are going to discuss about the feminine aspect of the absolute. He said, what is that? I said, do you accept the God as the Father of heaven? He said, yes. I said, is he the king? He said, yes. I said, what is the name of the queen? He said, what are you talking about? I said, well, how can he be king if there is no queen? And how does he enjoy as a king without queen? He said, well, I never heard in Bible anything like that. I said, oh yeah, I can tell you, I have in this book completely clear picture about the not only queen, all the maid servant, all the friends of the king, parents of the king, everything about God. And it was a very mesmerizing, you know. He says, what if I don't accept Krishna conscious aspect? I said, then you don't have any God consciousness aspect. He said, how can you say that? I said, yes, because Krishna concept means every aspect of God. Anybody thought of any concept of God is all within, inclusive. But if you take only one aspect, it's difficult. So revelation of God is understood by Hare Krishna philosophy as inclusive, not just one masculine feature, but masculine and feminine together as one absolute. I hope audience understand that. This Gauriya tradition, it is also there like there is a book our Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur wrote. It's called Brahman and Vaishnava. Brahmana and Vaishnava. It's in English here, Pundarik Prabhu translated. In that book, it says, I believe chapter 4, that in Ramanuja Sampradaya, there is two groups. One group believes Lakshmi Devi is a living entity. Now you're thinking like, are we going to talk about Radharani, how this is related? It's all related. If you are not where you are connecting with Radharani, it will be difficult to understand. You will think like something Radharani is beyond my capacity there. No, it is also here. See how it is connected. That concept of consort or feminine, that Lakshmi is in the category of God, is not there, even though they are Vaishnava. They are bona fide Vaishnava. Because Jiva and God cannot be one level. God is God's level, living entity is living entity's level. But our concept in Gauriya, we don't have such confusion. Why? Radha Krishna Iche Sada Eki Swarup. Even Swarup Damodar says, Radha Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shaktir Asmat Ekatmana Bhuvi Pura Deha Vedam Gato. Sri Chaitanya Kham Prakatam Oduna Tadayam Chekkamaptam Radha Bhavoddhuti Subolitam Naomi Krishna Sarupam. That absolute truth is one. Eternally taken two forms. They are again uniting in one, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This concept that absolute which is constituted with divinity of masculine and feminine together, it's only with us. If any Vaishnava Sampradaya do not come to this Sampradaya, they will never get it. Even though they're bona fide Sampradaya, no problem. But you will never get this concept. This is so high. And Radharani is the emblem of that. So we have to understand from that angle that what our Acharya is giving. So to understand that God has consort, who is also God. This is difficult in the Western conception, even in the monotheistic philosophy. Because monotheistic philosophy means God created heaven and earth. Bible says this. But no mention that there is God has also family with a wife or girlfriend and the whole Parshad associates. This concept is not there. He exists separately from everything. Okay, that's a good idea, but it is incomplete. In Hinduism, in Hindu conception is a polytheistic, many gods, many forms. Where they accept many gods, why? One, but then question rises about supremacy. Okay, many gods, but who is the superior? Who is the supreme? They are confused. Come on, this is the reality I'm talking, and practical. It's not like a philosophy I'm saying, it's practically I have also examined, I test people. And supreme, and where they accept many God, and there's a question of supreme amongst the polytheistic idea, and supreme has to be one, and it builds others when you say this to them. To understand thoroughly what Krishna consciousness or Krishna concept explain about polytheistic and monotheistic as inadequate. Yes, we accept only one God, aren't we? Balaram said, Ekala Ishwar Krishna ar sab vritta. We do accept one God, that is true. Wait, how do you reconcile that? It's very easy. We accept one God, but it is not monotheistic idea. that there is only one God. We say polymorphic monotheism. Means one absolute God has a two unlimited form, also has unlimited form. One supreme absolute truth has an unlimited form. Advaitam, Achyuta, Anadi, Anantarupam, Aidam Purana Purusham Navajauvananta. Edesu Durlabam, Madurlabam. So it says that Veda cannot even perceive sometimes. Veda cannot explain how it is. It is only Mahaprabhu's gift. It is not just one God, it is divine couple. We accept that one God, but that one God is divine couple. This is the concept. This is called polymorphic monotheism, is one absolute, has a dual part. Polymorphic bimonotheism. You have to write it down. Polymorphic bimonotheism. Means one absolute has a two dual form. This concept is nowhere available, only in Gauriya, this Krishna consciousness. The Vedic explanation of God is very profound and often includes other ideas with pure explanation. In all religion, the activity of God may be mentioned, but as far as the conception of Leela, they are rarely even explained or revealed. Oh, by the way, actually, I have a evidence of that Purana where Mahaprabhu changed that Pracheta Prabhu. I'll email to you. You send me your text. Actually, I have evidence even that actually is Mahaprabhu changed it. Now I remember, Krishna reminded me. In the Sanskrit, with the Sanskrit sloka where originally. Mahaprabhu's wonderful contribution. So everybody understanding my point? We finally come to one supreme God who has a dual form. Who has this understanding beside us? No one. It's not a monopoly. This is the Mahaprabhu's gift we are taking. Mahaprabhu came to give. Now we are going to discuss how to describe Leela. We have to understand in three subject matter. To understand Leela, three subject matter. Now I'm going to use Mother Vishnupriya's contribution. In the Leela, absolute controller does not act as a controller. You have to remember this. Absolute controller in Vrindavan Leela, absolute controller does not act as a controller, rather as an actor. This is a very mysterious. He acts as a Lokik Sad Bandhuvat. I don't know if you heard that word. Lokik, Acharya used Lokik Sad Bandhuvat. Means he's a family member, community member. Oh, he's my friend. Who is Krishna in Vrindavan? Oh, he's my friend. Oh, he's my son. Oh, he's Nanda Maharaja's son. Oh, he's just our friend. You know, we live with him. He's not a God. He's just one of us, but we love him the most. We cannot live without him. He's just a family member. This is the point. So there is a three way you have to understand. One is, first is the absolute controller does not act as a controller, rather act as an actor. He acts as a family member, community member. And that mood is intensification for affection. This is the key point. Intensification for affection. So God is supreme. By his supreme will, his awareness of his supremacy is concealed. Everybody understood? By his supreme will. I give you a good example. Srila Prabhupada writes, I found today, actually, I was tracing in database, I found 10 times Prabhupada mentioned that story of Prime Minister of England, Goldstein. I guess Prabhupada loved him probably, to some aspect, that concept. Now, I want somebody to answer me, or if you know the answer. Prime Minister Goldstein, he's very busy. You know, those days, the British Empire has no sunset. You ever heard that concept? In America, I heard this. The British Empire was so big They used to own America, India, part of Africa, Europe, like there is no sunset, they say. British Empire has no sunset. So big. So imagine the Prime Minister of England, British, how busy he is. So sometimes somebody says the French ambassador came, Prabhupada said someone came, many times Prabhupada said a dignitary came. It's the same story. So then came to meet the Prime Minister. There's an hour passing by and he's wondering why, what this Prime Minister is busy, that I'm also important man, but he's not giving time, what he's doing. So the secretary was not there. So he poked through the door, big door, to see what is Prime Minister, who is more important than me that he's spending time. And he saw very mysterious that this Prime Minister became a horsey, they call horsey in an affectionate way. And his grandchild on his back, and he's weeping like, giddy up, giddy up. And this Prime Minister is going around his big table and he's enjoying like this. And this important man is thinking, this is important. He's the Prime Minister of the world. And Prabhupada loved that story. Prabhupada narrated this many times. Why? Now question is, did Prime Minister have to do it? Did anybody made him to do it? No. He chose. He chose to give the pleasure to his grandchild. But while he's giving the pleasure to grandchild, he found himself also happy. This is the key point. Very fine print. Another one I give you. There are many stories I was collecting one time to understand how it's relevant. You heard about Akbar. You ever heard Akbar? I'm sure you heard Akbar. India was under Mughal. And Akbar, that time Mughal was ruling Afghanistan, Iraq, everything was under Mughal. Big Mughal was like a giant. Tibet, Mongolia, all were under Mughal. And Mughal was ruling. So Akbar had one Hindu minister, Birbal, and he told one time, Birbal, I want to experience every sort of lifestyle in my kingdom. I want to see what they enjoy. So, well, okay, well, how are you going to start? He said, let's start with the beggar. So, my dear king, how are you going to do that? And Akbar, by nature, he was very handsome, fair complexion, long nose. He doesn't look like a beggar. I mean, it's very difficult to make him beggar. But he wants to experience. He said, at least one day I want to act like a beggar, but nobody should know I'm the emperor acting as a beggar. So Birbal arranged a dress in a torn cloth with a dirty dirt, but still his body was so beautiful, big thing. So some other, they put some, black dot here, there. I don't know how he did it, but they put him in a street corner. And all those beggars are also there. So whole day Akbar was begging. And the other beggars saying, hey, where are you from? We never saw you. And he goes like, means dumb. He doesn't speak. Because if he speaks, he's very eloquent. He's a very, very eloquent. Actually, by the way, Akbar actually helped the Hare Krishna people because the Govinda Dev temple, the red stone, they all come because of Akbar. He donated this. Akbar was very favorable. He met Rupa Goswami Pad, Rupa and Jiva Goswami Pad also, both, two of them. So anyway, Akbar came. So after begging everything over, they go to on the road, tea stall, like on the street in India, they sell the tea like that. I guess those days they were already had it. So Akbar also sat down with all these beggars. He just wants to experience. So then he's listening the conversation. And everybody sharing their little begging, few kori. Those days they had a kori. The paisa is by the kori, like shell. So he also gave his part. They get a little tea and chickpea sharing, this, that, all the beggars. And they don't have a house. They sleep under a tree or somewhere, until it rains and they hide somewhere. Otherwise, it's okay. And the whole time he had experience. And then after a little while, he, in the name of going to the toilet, he escaped. And immediately military, of course, his military minister, they came and escorted him and nobody saw him. So then Birbal asked him, how was it? He said, this is the best day in my life. He said, how? Why? He said, I had nothing to worry. There was no complaint, no appealing from anybody. I had never heard any complaint, only like a rubbish talk, make no sense, all this homeless talk. It's like there is nothing to worry because there is no house, no money, nothing left. And it's like a free of anxiety. I wish I could live that life as a king. So why I'm bringing this point, because Prabhupada made that point, that experience, to have a human experience, ordinary living experience, it is inside Krishna. And that is what Brajadham. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, Prabhupada writes that our concept of God is like not like a judge. All the concept of God in this world floating is like a judge. God is the judge, and different advocate or lawyer comes is like a different Messiah. You know, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, they're all like a Messiah. Okay, here is the God. How much good thing you did is this much heaven. How much bad thing you did, this much hell. Which one you want first, or something like that. You know, judgment. But mercy is above judge. Mercy is about justice, isn't it? So that time was very sweet that Prabhupada writes, but the concept of God we have is the judge in the home, not in the court. Very well, Prabhupada put it. He said, our concept of God is not the judge in the court, but judge at home. So when you think of Krishna, Radha, you have to think they are the supreme absolute, that one absolute with dual form, but they are at home. Means when he is a judge, his father cannot come to the court. He say, my dear son, give me a glass of water. You cannot order judge. You will be arrested. It doesn't matter who you are, father or anybody. But at home, his father can say, my dear son, bring a glass of water. The judge will bring a glass of water. He's not a judge anymore. He's just like a son. So this concept of Krishna and Radha, we have to understand, it is a voluntarily choice they made. Prabhupada even said in one lecture, he does not know why Supreme Absolute Truth took the form of a teenager. You know, teenager is an exploration. Teenager means is not mature yet. Radharani is not mature. Krishna is not mature. They are called Nava Jovana. Nava Jovana means they are becoming young. They never became young. Eternally, Prabhupada saying when he comes to 16, he stays there eternally. Prabhupada writes repeatedly in teachings of Lord Chaitanya, also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada repeats. After he reached 16, teenager, he does not grow anymore. And when you think teenager, what? You think like, okay, when that girl or boy grow up, will understand life. But if they never grow up, what happened? So Krishna purposely, he chose to remain teenager, where in a village, not in a big city, not in a big, problematic or busy. It's a simple country life village, and not in a Brahmana Kshatriya. Okay, he comes as a Kshatriya, but here, Supreme Radha and Krishna as a Vaishya. Vaishya, simple village, coward family. Now, Prabhupada say also, but it is a mysterious why he chose that eternally. Because there is the mystical. So we are going to discuss this. And one, okay, so first explanation I gave, intensification for affection. Second point, to understand the lila. Then question comes, is the absolute fully aware of everything or not fully aware of everything? That is the question. Is Krishna and Radha fully aware of everything or not aware of everything? This conception of omniscience from the point of tattva or consideration of his absolute position. Yes. How about as for rasa or relishing transcendental mellow of emotions, Krishna Lila can be understood as a kind of a transcendental play. What is transcendental play? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani cha arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mantu vedana kaschana. I know everything what? Past, present, future. Krishna says, I know everything, past, present, future. But this in terms of tattva, philosophical ontological truth, considering who is who in their constitutional position. As a tattva, he can be absorbed with Radharani in Golok Vrindavan and listen you in New Orleans or Alachua when you pray. But as Rasa, he is crying over there probably in separation of Radha. And you think like, if he doesn't know where Radharani, how he knows what I am going through? This doubt will come. Remove that doubt. It's not a problem because he has both. These are called Sarvagata, Mugdata. Sarvagata, Mugdata. Omniscience and overwhelmed with the emotion experience. Both are simultaneously there. He knows in New Orleans or New York or Alachua who is crying for him. He also same time fully crying for Radharani. How possible both? This is the mystical. The third, in a play, there is a director, actor, actress. This is what this slide, if you see it, Mother Vishnupriya Devi made it very nice. The excellent actor means he enters into the role of a character in such a deep way as is depicted. After that, actor feels, I am that particular character. That's who I am. Srila Prabhupada, one lecture I remember, Prabhupada says, Krishna is so absorbed in his pastimes that he forgot his godhood. He literally think, oh my God, what happened to me? Look at me. And he cries, how did I become like this? Amongst all the chaste lady in the world, my mother is number one, Joshoda. Amongst all the noble, precious, wonderful characters, person, king, my father is number one. And their only son, I am in love with a married lady. How did it happen? I can't give up. I cannot give up thinking of Radha. But this is horrible. It's immoral. He thinks like this and he cries alone. And then he hears the sound of the coward boys and immediately try to wipe it. You think like, you have to think, is really Krishna feeling guilty? How did he come up with this? How did he think that he's immoral? And you know, Bhagavad Gita last verse he said, Jatra Jogeshwara Kitna Jatra Partha Dhanurdara Tatra Sri Vijaya Bhuti Dhruva Niti Moti Mama. Morality is only with Krishna and Arjuna. How is that morality with Krishna? But he's thinking, what happened to me? So he cries. Sometimes he runs away from the boys. So wait, I'll be back 1 minute. And he goes there, he cannot find which way Radha's house is. Was it a left road? This is a split fork, you know. Was it right or left? He's thinking, I saw her going this way. No, I saw, oh my God, I can't believe this. What's going on? Why I don't have a help? Is he all knowing? Omnipotence, omniscience, or he doesn't know? This is the emotion that he actually experienced. This we have to understand. It is not that he doesn't know. All-knowing potency is all the time with him, never separated from him. But it is poured by this concept that he chose. He told Jogamaya in the beginning of Ras Leela, there's a verse 29.1, 10.29.1. Bhagavan apita ratri sarata utfulla mallika bhiksham rantum manasa chakre yoga maya samasrita. What happened to the world? You go anywhere in the world, if you see good people, they say, surrender to God, take shelter of God. We also say, take shelter of God, surrender to God, isn't it? But have you ever heard that God also takes shelter of someone? In Vrindavan, yes. That verse says, Jogamaya Samasrita. He said, God also takes shelter of Jogamaya. Now, this is the concept. How many slides you made? Just one or two? This is one slide. You have to remember that, okay, let's go back to the three concepts. One is, who wrote Krishna Lila? It's Krishna. He is the script writer. Everybody, please try to remember how to make a movie. Just think, how do you make a movie? In order to make a movie, first you have to have a script. And some writer has to write it. Who wrote the script in Krishna Lila? Krishna himself. So everything that is happening, it's Krishna's desire. He owns self. He said, I want to really get covered that I forgot that I'm God. Please, Jogamaya, you do this. So Jogamaya is just acting like his maid servant, but looks like a Jogamaya is the boss because Krishna made him and made her to be boss. So Krishna is the script writer. Next one. Next slide shows Jogamaya as a director. Whenever they have a problem, they go to Jogamaya. Why they go to Jogamaya? How Jogamaya arranging all this? You hear so many beautiful pastimes, but if you don't keep this in the back, it's difficult for me to perceive how it is happening. It is for Krishna's relishment. And where is Radharani? She is an actress, heroine. Krishna is an actor. Nanda Maharaj is an actor. And they're so much into it, they're really relishing every moment, this emotion. The feeling is the highest estimation of existence. If you only live by in a tribulation, maybe your existence is good. If you can live, if you have a disease or some threatening, virus or whatever, then if you can live healthy, you feel, okay, you're good. But after a while, you say, I'm a little bored. I want a little bit more than just living. It's a fact. When you are in danger, living is very important. But after living a while, you say, no, I want, what do you want? You want pleasure. So feeling is ultimate. Vrindavan is predominated by feeling of Radharani, Krishna, and everybody. Even the dust, particle. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Thito dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. I want to aspire for becoming a dust. Even that is a great deal. Why? Because the dust pre-deposited with cognizant and eternity. And when Krishna steps on the dust, it becomes over joyful with Ananda. When you get Ananda, how do you know? You start dancing. If you are not Ananda, you don't dance. Anandam, Nartanam, Kirtanam. Then you start singing. This is one after another, chronological. So, okay, you can remove that concept now. So what we understood so far, that the director is Jogamaya, who is not visible. There is an actor is always visible, and there is a script writer who is also not visible. Script, no. See, Krishna, when Krishna, this is a good question. You may think like, is Jogamaya can be like a tricking Krishna? No. I don't know if you had an experience, or you are a married man, so you might have experience. Like when you see your happiness is when you don't tell your wife what to cook, she cooks better than usual. And if you tell her what to cook, you are like eating because you asked for it and you got it, not necessarily you like it, everything. But when you don't tell her, she cooks the best. So what do you do next time? You don't want to tell her. Make sense? So Krishna's experience of Yogamaya, that Yogamaya creating such a phenomenon that Krishna says, I want her to rule it. Krishna allows, without his sanction, Yogamaya cannot rule. Nothing can rule. But Krishna allows voluntarily. Let her do what she wants, because Krishna found himself. Iti driksha lila virananda kunde sagho sangnimajjantam aikhapayantam. Iti driksha lila virananda kunde. He found himself down into Ananda Kunda, a pool of ecstasy. Iti driksha lila virananda kunde sagho sangnimajjantam aikhapayantam. Tadiyesitagyesu bhakti jitatam puna prematastam sata bhrittibandhe. This explanation that Krishna found himself so much in ecstasy because of Yogomaya's arrangement, Krishna has complete trust on her. Now let me allow her. Let's do whichever way you want, because Krishna found himself more happy than ever. I'm going to give you a little pastime so you can understand on this. So Bhagavan Apitaratri, as I mentioned, I'll finish with this topic. The supreme shelter takes shelter on someone. That concept you will never find in any religious concept. Anybody has no clue about this. It's only in our philosophy. How does Krishna take shelter of Yogamaya? That could be a question. Means Krishna is acting as an actor under direction of Yogamaya as a director. Yogamaya, Lord, makes Krishna think he is not God. Who is he? Prabhupada said he thinks he is the son of Nanda Jashoda. And he thinks I'm just an ordinary village boy. He doesn't even think I'm God. I'm just an ordinary village boy. And if someone beats me or Mother Jashoda hurts me, I'm afraid. He really experienced. It is not like he's just trembling. No. He feels, oh my God, Sridham can really beat me up if I don't carry him. But his Godhood is never lost, is there, but he chooses not to be revealed. So this is a very phenomenon. So he is afraid of Mother Jashoda. It is real. Nothing pretending. Krishna actually feels that he is subordinate to the Brajavashi. So the question I raised, I think last time, if God forgets, write it down, if God forgets he is God, then how is he God? If God forgets he is God, then how is he God? So the twist here is that Krishna is actor, Yogamaya is director, then again Krishna himself is a script writer. So Krishna is directed by Yogamaya according to whose will? According to his own will. Isn't it funny? Even if Krishna is under control of Yogamaya, but director is only following the script, controlled by Krishna. So when Krishna forgets his supreme personality of Godhead, that is according to his own will, and he wants to forget. This is called inconceivable. That he is God and he is not God. The atheist or ignorant people, they don't believe in God, and the devotee believes in God. But when devotee comes to Vrindavan, nobody believes Krishna is God. This is the biggest phenomenon. So now I'm going to give you a little idea about how this Leela manifests. Now you got this three way to look all the Leelas. If you can remember this 3 way to look all the Leela, you can sit down with your Japamala and enter into that mystical realm. Otherwise, it just become another movie. Don't make it movie. Krishna's pastime is not a movie, it's a reality, but in spiritual level. Once upon a time, very beautifully, Gaur Govinda Maharaj emphasized a beautiful point. So I'm going to elaborate with the pastimes. That one time, SriMati RadhaRani decorated a beautiful kunja, so beautifully decorated. She put the peacocks over there. You don't have to even tell the peacock what to do. Whatever you're thinking, peacock also has a connection, like a Zoom. Oh, that's a good way to look at it. Like a Zoom connection. If you are connected with the Zoom, you can see what the other people, like Pracheta Prabhu is sitting on a chair, I can see. So like this, that every devotee who are connected with SriMati RadhaRani, this is a key point. I hope you can remember this. I'm not going to elaborate details on the Zoom, but this is a very secret point. Rupa Goswami Pad reveals that whoever, actually Prabhupada also revealed in teachings of Lord Chaitanya, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after relishing in the mood of SriMati RadhaRani, whatever is left, it is Chaitanya Charitamrita. So what Mahaprabhu is relishing, who is getting it beside Mahaprabhu? After Mahaprabhu gets, who else? The 6 Goswamis. And then 6 Goswamis, who is getting? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Like this, Prabhupada gives breakdown all the way to Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, and then he didn't mention his name, but then Prabhupada. What he's trying to say means this Radharani, whatever Krishna and Radharani is, beautiful pastime, producing unparalleled, unimaginable ecstasy. How much your heart is reciprocated to that their contact, you can relish. Can you imagine? A living entity can never enjoy that, but it is possible. That's why Prabhupada gave that example, that if you work in the king's house, whatever kings eat, the servant also get it. You're not eating as a king, but because you're servant in the king's house, king is eating big roast. Oh, I don't know what's the big difference. Say a special meal with a big, what do you call, fried chana pura in Puri. Chana pokora. Then as a servant also you get it. So this is very mystical, because otherwise you wonder 300 maid servant of Rukmini Devi, what they enjoy. Don't they feel like to be with Krishna? In a mundane way, we think like this. Spiritual way, yes, it is there. What is it? The proportion to their connection, they also relish it. They don't have to unite with the Lord. They get it automatically. This mystical secret was never revealed before Rupa Goswami Pad came. So I'm going to give a little process that there are 2 aspects of Krishna Lila. One is Sambhog, one is Vipralamba. I'm just paraphrasing what I understood from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary. That Sambhog, divine union, and Vipralamba, divine separation, when Radha and Krishna are very near to each other, but cannot meet intimacy, service at that time can draw a greatest gain for the servitor. There are a few examples I'm going to lay down, so tomorrow we can go more on the pastimes. Is there some teenager in the audience also? Maybe they can answer. This is nice question. Like this. Okay, when we grow up as a child, each of us loved our mother, and I knew my mother loves me the most, and she has the highest affection for me. You felt the same way for your mother. You felt the same way for your mother. But is it possible that all mother has the same affection? No. So there has to be standard of measurement. Okay, this Mataji gave up her job to take care of her baby newly born. Why? Because her love for the child is so deep that she doesn't care for her job. She wants to spend time. But this Mataji, she hired a nanny, or what you call babysitter, and she takes care. And hardly she sees her baby twice a day, morning, goodbye, baby, I'll be back. And she comes back, baby fell asleep, and then in the morning she goes again, say goodbye, baby, and like coming. Prabhupada says one time, a man was so workaholic. After many years, he said, who is this guy? And his wife said, that's your son. Oh, I don't know, Prabhupada, where he come? Prabhupada, I almost like felt, really? Is it like really happened? Possible, Prabhupada said that, this is obviously he saw somewhere. So like this, there is a gradation of motherly affection. So what is the gradation? Palan, Poshan, Taran, Barsan. 4 things. Palan, Poshan, Taran, Barsan. Every mother has this. Now, proportion to how much they have, this much they are category of mother. How much also father, similarly father, similarly. Similarly, when you grade something, there has to be standard of measurement. What Krishna is enjoying, how it is higher than the other rasa. There will be some doubt, otherwise, no, it will come. So I'm going to explain this, but I'm also looking at the watch. I want to tell this story first. And then I'm going to explain the philosophy, how it is backing. Because I was going to tell the philosophy first, then the story. But then time is running out. So one time, SriMati RadhaRani was so jubilant. She's happy. She's going to make her kunja most beautiful. And she did. And it's not like you have to stuck flower or bases or something like this. Not like this. So what she has to do, she just tell the peacock, you go this posture, okay, the vine in the flower group. So you go like this, you make it like art, dancing. So everything is automatically, or through her mind, everything is like automatically happening. And Brinda Devi comes and she makes more decoration, Lolita, Bisaka, all of them. So after everything is happening, it's wonderfully that SriMati RadhaRani was so surprised that today this kunja is beautiful. It's overwhelming, so beautiful. So then she's waiting. Krishna said he is going to come. And the time is passing by, he's not showing up. And after long hour passed by, Radharani started naturally a sulkiness. Now, I cannot go the story unless I tell you at least some concept. Mana, sulkiness in English, I call sulkiness means man. Mana is actually a quality that Radharani has. Krishna loves so much, he wants to experience this all the time. Now, materially, it doesn't sound like good. Somebody is grouchy with you and doesn't want to listen to you. It's like, oh gosh, why my child doesn't listen? I'm telling. But in spiritual world, it is not like this. In spiritual world, when the love is so much, it's overwhelming, then the sulkiness comes. We have to understand from the reality of spiritual thing that man is a kind of a separation. Man means when meeting, there is some difference between them in trifling matters. This is a very nature of love. Rupa Goswami Pad says the Vrindavan love of the Brajavasi or Radha Krishnas is like a crooked cobra. You know, crooked cobra, you just don't know where it is going. It's like crooked, it disappears or nobody knows what happened. It's like this, oh, under there. It's all of a sudden gone from there. It's like this. This is the nature of. So therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad says the love moves in a carved way like a serpent. It is not diseased, but this is the nature of path of love. In Vrindavan, when you love Krishna so much, like Mother Yashoda, you know what Mother Yashoda thinks? Oh my God, some demon going to come and kidnap my son. But there is no demon. but she feels like this. Why? It is natural, because she has so much love. You follow? I know. Did you ever see Mother Krishna Kanti? Did you ever see your mom cries? You are 20 feet far away. No, you didn't see. Because Mother Josuda cries for her son. So Rohini Maya says, why are you crying? He says, I miss my son. But he's right there, 20 feet far, is playing. I know, but I love him so much. It is the nature of love. It is such an ecstasy of love that they think something bad going to happen to their child or bad going to happen to their beloved. They can't help it because they have a mamata. Prem comes with mamata. Ananda mamata Vishnu, mamata prema sangata. Rupa Goswami Pad give that verse too. That when you have a spiritual love for the Lord, you really want to act on his behalf. You feel like sometime what to do with this. So in the story, Radharani, she's waiting, Krishna didn't come. Then all of a sudden her man, why he should come? There is so many girls in this town, in this village. They are so beautiful. They are probably better beautiful. And I know I am just an innocent little silly girls. He probably found somebody better. And she's thinking all this stuff. Now you may think like, why did she have to think? Eternally, Krishna is her. That concept will not go there. Because she loves him so much, she is always feeling threatening that somebody is stealing my Krishna. Somebody taking my Krishna. This is the nature of love. When you have that spiritual love, you will start experiencing. Until that, it's difficult, just we hear. But we can pray. So Krishna is not coming. Finally, after a long time, Krishna just showed up. And Krishna showed up like a breathlessly, you know. Oh, I made it. And Lalita says, you made it what? He said, I'm so sorry. I was running. I was trying to be on time. He said, look at you. I can see even a red mark. Somebody kissed your face. Oh, no. I just fell on the red berry tree and I knocked out. That's why late. And then the red berry fell. I think it's the mark of the red berry. Yeah. You're telling me all this story. Then Vishakha became so angry. Why? Because Vishakha and Radharani are the same age. They are born in the same age. In Vrindavan, if you are born 1 minute before, then you have a little motherly or Vatsulya bhav. 1 minute after Krishna, you feel servitorship. It's like a very unique. Everything over there is so particular, so beautiful. So then Vishakha said, I'm sorry, you cannot admit, you're not allowed today. So then Krishna says, I'm so sorry, please. Then seeing his situation, then Lalita Sakhi finally went to Radharani and appealed to her. But seeing Radharani's position, you know, when Radharani gets so much sulkiness, how they express their love, they take their nail and grind it on a ground. And then writes all these things and tears falling on the ground. So it's becoming like a pool and she writes, oh, there is this girl probably telling you this, and she writes, I am so worthless, I won't get you today, I'm so sad, why I took birth in this way. Is this something wrong Radharani has? Actually, she is relishing this, but it is difficult for us to understand how she is relishing this. Of course, she is not knowing that this is perfect. So then, finally, Krishna is trying, and Lalita Sakhi came, seeing this, Radharani's situation, she understood and she went back to Radharani. And she told, she went back to Krishna. She said, I'm sorry, you are not allowed today. You have to go back. And all of a sudden, Krishna's feeling to see Radharani is so much intense. Now, can you understand why Radha and Krishna wants to meet always and Yogamaya separate them? Try to understand this. This is very important. Because there is a incessant, irresistible attraction between them. It is never possible to break. Rupa Goswami Pad gave that a definition. Sarvata dhangsa rahita sattapi dhangsa karane jad bhava bandhanam juna sa prema parikirtita. The definition of prem is that if there is an ample reason, ample means unlimited reason, ample reason, Prabhupada translate like this, ample reason to break, but it becomes stronger and stronger. More they want to unite, Yogamaya comes in between and create a story or play that they cannot meet. Then their attraction become more tight. Everybody understanding this attraction between Radha and Krishna? Because they have irresistible, uninterrupted attraction between them is the original cause of why you are in New Orleans, why I am in Alachua, why material world exists, why spiritual world exists. Everything has only that cause. That is the cause of all causes. If there is no attraction between Radha and Krishna, there would not have any meaning of anything. Because that attraction is eternally there. It is the origin seed of everything sprouted. So this is very important to understand. So that time Krishna felt he wants to unite with her more than before. And he started crying. Lalita Vishaka says, sorry, we are like big bodyguard. You cannot pass through. What can Krishna do? You may think, oh, he's omniscient. That word does not work. Omnipotence is unparalleled strength. No. Those things subordinate. Subordinate by the affection of Radha's mood. Even though he's omniscient, omnipotence, it won't work. That will be under, so cannot be seen. So Krishna is like he's like a young boy. So he goes in the jungle and he's crying and crying and crying. How do I do it? He really thinks like he's an ordinary boy. He doesn't know how to break and he cannot. I don't know if Gopal Radhe Prabhu knows, or a lot of young boys, if they meet a girl that they want to marry, they go through sometimes this psychological. I actually tested even. I reflect my life. I also interviewed few. Do you feel like you have to have that girl or you have to have meet this boy that your life object? Say yes. Say origin is coming because it is there with Radha and Krishna. It's reflecting here. It doesn't satisfy because we are not this body. That's why after a while it wear off. But it is there in spiritual world and it grows more and more. So then Krishna thinks, oh, can somebody help me? Immediately the Banadevi appeared. Oh, don't worry, Nanda Maharaja's son. I have a way you can break her sulkiness and you can be united with her. You can? Tell me, please, please. I'll give you anything. Don't worry, you don't have to give me anything. But that's Yogamaya. He even forgot that he allowed her to do like this. But he appeared as a Banadevi. She lives in a forest. Yogamaya has a many form in Vrindavan. She's also Brindadevi. So then he said, don't worry, Brinda will tell you. Okay, Brinda says, well, in this dress, you cannot be seen. She's not going to accept you. What should I do? It's as if he doesn't know. He really lost the godhood. He said, well, I think I have an idea. Why don't you become a sannyasi? Sannyasi? Yeah, you have a beautiful curly hair. I'm sorry, you have to shave it off. Just by the time Krishna is thinking I have to shave, because he's still omnipotent, automatically he's shaved off. He said, okay, you have to give up your beautiful flute. I'm sorry, no flute business now. Okay, flute is disappeared. Instead came a danda, sannyas danda. And then Brindadevi says, okay, you need a saffron cloth, no beautiful fancy dhoti and chadar and all this. And then your jewelry. And all jewelry, everything came off. It just said, sannyasi beggar. Krishna took the form of sannyas beggar. And then Brindadevi said, I'm going to teach you a mantra. And then you chant this mantra and you act like you are begging to learn how to develop love. Prem Bhikhari. Prem Bhikhari, you are beggar of love. And you walk in the forest, I'll arrange such a way that you will end up with meeting Radha. So then he went and he was so thankful, appreciating this Vanadevi. And as he's going by, and he realized that Kunja is there, but he forgot that he was Krishna. See, Jogomaya also covered him. So at that time, he's singing this beautiful song that I'm a prema bhikari, a sannyasi looking for a prem, like this, and a beautiful song. And Chandravali, and Lalita and Vishaka is standing as a gatekeeper and thinking, what in the world, in the forest, there is a sannyasi coming here. How in the world? So as he's passing by, and Lalita Saki looked at him, he says, interesting mantra you chanting, Maharaj. He said, yes. He said, what you are looking for? He said, I'm a prema bhikhari. I'm looking for pure love. He said, well, I don't know about that, but I know that our mistress is in distress condition. And why you are in the forest? He said, oh, my guru, Gandharvika, she told me just to roam around anywhere and look for pure love, and you will get it. So I'm depending on Guru's mercy, Guru's instruction I'm following. Said, this is very nice song. But our mistress, Swamini, she actually knows the secret of pure love, but she's in a distress right now. Do you know astrology? And the sannyasi said, of course, I also studied that, but I don't practice anymore because as a sannyasi, I'm renounced everything. I don't practice that. He said, well, would you mind of at least help us a little bit because she's desperate. So he said, okay, sannyasi is supposed to help others. I can try. He said, okay. So then immediately Lalita Saki went inside and told Radharani, and seeing Radharani's situation, at that time Radharani quoted one verse. I hope you all remember that verse. The last verse of Sri Shikshastaka. It was spoken by Lord Chaitanya, but before that, Prabhupada writes also it was spoken by Radharani. That's the story I'm telling you, if you didn't hear that story before. So Radharani at that time, she quoted that verse. Beautiful. What is that verse? No, that's not the Aslishava padaratam pinastumam adarshanmar mahatam karotuva jatha tatha ba vidadhatu lampatu prananathastu saivana. Radharani changed her heart. She said, I don't care. He left. Now I'm really desperately want to meet, even though I told I don't want to meet. But when Radharani say, I don't want to meet, there's a two meaning. Externally, she does not want to express that you are under my control. But inside, she said, I want you desperately. But it has to be translated. So it was not translated at that time. So Krishna was rejected. So at that time, Radharani changed her mind, and she's crying and quoting this verse and crying and quoting this verse. She said, I don't care. You have a right to do whatever you want. But you are always my Prananath, Lord of my heart. I'll never give up you. You are eternally my Prananath. Please come back. So immediately Lalita Saki came. Say, stop crying. We have a good news. Lalita Saki looked at, Radharani looked at her. He said, we have a genius sannyasi who knows astrology. And not only that, he's also beggar of love. So I think he will be able to tell you when Krishna is coming. Don't cry anymore. So Lalita Saki says, then they made an arrangement for a sannyasi to sit. There is a nice asana is given. So Sannyasi was brought in front of Radharani, and Sannyasi is sitting there, and Sannyasi say, the Vishakha Devi says, okay, here is her hand, you can read her chart. Oh, sorry, I'm a Sannyasi, I don't touch ladies' hand. You should know that the Sannyasi don't touch ladies' hand. Okay, but you know, she is not a really lady, she is our head mistress of the whole Vrindavan. It does not matter. I'm a sannyasi, I'm strict not to touch any lady's hand. Okay, so how do you see when she's going to meet her beloved? Well, I look her forehead. Well, then there is a problem because she does not ever want to see another man's face. Then this sannyasi said, you think I'm a man? Sannyasi means above the man and woman. They're liberated soul. How can you say sannyasi is a man? This is actually blaspheming. So we're sorry, we don't mean to, but generally sannyasi could be also looking for a woman, and we see sometimes sannyasi fell down. And Vishakha Devi gave a good logic. And this sannyasi said, I'm not that kind of sannyasi. I'm a pakka sannyasi looking for prem bhikari. So don't categorize me in that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, yes, only I can look from far, her forehead then. So Radharani always has a veil. So what they should do, Lolita Sakhi said, forget it, just took the veil off. And eye to eye union. When eye to eye union, Sannyasi forgot his Sannyasi Tribhanga form came out. Radharani forgot her man, sulkiness. So what is this pastime demonstrate? This is a beautiful pastime, but what is demonstrate? That this relishment between Radha and Krishna is eternally there. But Yogamaya creates an atmosphere where they will never meet each other. And for an example, I'm going to give you a little idea about it. How does it work? In the Rasa Tattva, Rasa Vichar, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu elaborately explained through Rupa Goswami Pad, that when you think of Vrindavan Leela, first of all, Radharani is born when? We all know, right? On 8th day. Krishna is also born on 8th day. Ashtami, Radha Ashtami, Krishna Ashtami. If you look at it, Radha Ashtami is between the new moon and full moon. From the both sides, there is a Ashtami. When is a new moon going to become full moon, or full moon turning back to the new moon, in between there is a 8th day, covers the complete concept of moon. So Radharani and Krishna are total 16. Ete changsha kalapungsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. When we think that Krishna is a Swayam Bhagavan, what is Swayam Bhagavan? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explanation, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur quote this verse. Jahar Bhagavatta hoite Anyer Bhagavatta Swayam Sabder Ihate Satta. Swayam means from whom all the Bhagavan comes. This one absolute with two dual form, dual form, Radha Krishna are one God. This is the origin, and when they come together is a full moon. Who appeared on full moon? Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya is a 8 plus 8, 16. He born in a full moon, and Janmashtami is 8 and Radhastami. Because there is a beautiful understanding that Radha Krishna are like a two part of the one, and they are always attracted to each other. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he exhibited, he says, Bajje Bisho Jalamai, Bitare Anandamai, Krishna Preme E Adbhut Charit. Krishna Prem is experience Sometimes outside looks like a poison. And inside Anandamaya is so ecstasy, and it's always like conflict. How to understand this? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur made a very interesting point. He said that if you want to go get the mercy of Radharani, you should seek for the be advantage taker. What does that mean? Where Radharani needs the help, if you can some or other link there, connect there, your little help can magnify big. And he gave many examples. One example is like when Radharani was bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan from Kurukshetra. Now you can see why Prabhupada is fascinated about Jagannath. Bringing back, we never do, ISKCON, we never do Ulta Rath. Mostly always one-way Rath. Means only we bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. And in Jagannath Puri, they have this Ulta Rath, but it's okay. Ulta Rath is also wonderful, Krishna's pastime. But one Rath that bringing Krishna, Mahaprabhu exhibited this, bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan is the most fascinating. In that situation, Radharani needs the highest help. And if you want the mercy of Radharani, you participate in this kind of Ratha Jatra pastimes. You know, there are a few things. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that he wants to build a house, cottage near Brahmakund, where in Kurukshetra, where he's going to meditate and help Radharani to pull Krishna Vrindavan. He thinks this is his great sadhana. The concept is not just Brahmakund. Concept is not to go to Vrindavan. Concept is Antaranishta Bhajya Loko Vyavahar. Achirat Krishna Tomai Kariben Uddhar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to Raghunath Das Goswami. Then we have to develop a strong attachment to Krishna. Even we are in America. We don't need to go to Radhakund or Govardhan to develop that. And even by going there, when they come back, not necessarily they developed it. So you have to develop by journey within. You have to write journey within. This is the main point, that this bhakti that we are practicing, it is journey within. You have to correct, purify the heart here. It is not the situation or circumstances. It is the decision that we are product of our decision, means we make the decision to purify and we stick to it. Service is more valuable according to the intensity of its need. Everybody understand that, no? Service is more valuable according to the intensity of its needs. Like for an example, when you see something gives a big benefit, say for an example, Indian Dehradun rice will cure cancer. What happened tomorrow if this really news comes out tomorrow? All the rice of Dehradun, from Dehradun, what happened? The price went. Even American, those who don't like rice, they will start eating. And the rice will be double, maybe 10 times. And maybe after a month, the rice is like $1,000 1 kilo. Wait, it was $10. How is the $1,000? Too bad, because the demand went so high. Try to understand, this is very important. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur making a very nice point that even little endeavor in that situation is more higher. So we need to go inside in our heart and actually try to see that how we can connect to this kind of service to Radharani, where Mahaprabhu says, Kobuna badibe tumai bishay taranga punarapi ei thai pave mor sangha. Kobuna badibe tumai, if you can find that connection, you stay there. Stane stita srutigatam tonobi. You do not need to go anywhere. You can stay wherever you are. You are in your office or house or America or India, doesn't matter, wherever you are. You go within. Stane stita srutigatam tonubha manovi. And you will get Krishna right here. You don't need to go anywhere, because Krishna is in your heart, and this heart is back home, back to God. We have to have a connection right here before we experience outside. Whatever conception of God you have here, When you see the deity, it connects. If I don't have a connection with Krishna and I look at the deity, it remains as a deity, not Krishna. This is the phenomenon, very important. So, but when we have a relationship with Krishna and Radharani inside the heart, then when we see any deity, we'll see, oh, my Lord has appeared in this form. Then you will be conversing with the Lord in the deity form. Just like Prabhupada was installing Radha Parthasarathi temple in Delhi. And as I mentioned, Ishan Prabhu was telling me in my shop one time, he said he didn't understand. You know, he comes from an impersonalist Jewish family. And he says, when I was serving Prabhupada, so Prabhupada said, you clean the temple. And I'm cleaning. And all of a sudden I see Prabhupada crying. And crying such a way, they're like a tears shooting at the deity. The deity is being bathed by Prabhupada's tears. And he stopped cleaning. He's like, wow, I never even ever imagined my Guru Maharaj actually cried. I mean, it's possible, but I never saw it. So he's like a dumbstruck, you know, looking at, and Prabhupada realized. So after a few minutes, he said, go back to your service. Don't look at this side. And of course, he's like, I want to look, but he cannot say it. So he's mopping again. After a few minutes, he looked, oh my God, he's crying again. So at that time, he's like, I must look at. So I asked him, did you get some drop of the tears when he cried that fell through the deity? It would be like, because you can get contagious just by that, touching that. He said, I had no idea, but I was mopping the floor. So I said, well, you're still here. You're crying for Prabhupada. Obviously, you got something. So it's very nice. So that's how they install the deity. They install Pranapratishtha. How? By their invitation. Because one of the question came that why the glorification of why the glorification of Radharani or Krishna was not in the other religion or in the Western world. Well, unfortunately to say, nobody invited Radharani to come to America before Prabhupada, so she never came. If there would be somebody who would invite them, they would come, Radha Krishna would come, but nobody invited. Prabhupada invited, and now ISKCON is inviting everywhere devotees, installing deities, they're inviting them to come, so they are now in America. It's as clear as this. Yes, Prabhu. 10 minutes? Oh, really? Wait, that close. So the hankering of union felt by his devotee must come to us its greatest point. But because he is in a role of a king, they cannot meet intimacy. The circumstances do not allow the Vrindavan Leela to take place. So at that time, SriMati RadhaRani needs the highest service from her group. Sakis. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in that situation, a drop of service will attract the greatest amount of love of God. So this is the sum of the key point I wanted to mention. By the way, I did not answer the questions, but I'm going to answer all the questions maybe on the third day. But the first question I will answer, I'll end with this. I sent those questions. I hope somebody answered some. First question was, if Bhagavan is Atmaram, Aptakam, then why does he need a transcendental consort to give him happiness? So here is the answer that from Srila Prabhupada Chaitanya Charitamrita that we found, that one absolute has a dual form, as I explained to you. So when you say Krishna is Atmaram, Krishna and Radha are one. So he delighting in Radha is not another person. When you touch your own hand, do you feel anything? No, it's sattvic because your own body. But when you touch another girl or boy's hand, you feel something because the modes are playing that time. You follow? This is a neutralized modes. But when you touch somebody's hand, its modes are playing at that time, moving, dynamic. Similarly, when Radha Krishna is delighting within, that is not outside. He is delighting within. That is Atmaram. And it is not another consort. It is him in a form of Radharani. That's one understanding. Another is, he does not need anything. So Radharani is a part of him. This is his Hladini Shakti. When we say Krishna, the word Krishna, where is Radharani? Inside. Because Krishna is never alone. Krishna is always Radharani. Krishna is always inside. But when there is a dynamic, she comes outside. So this is another understanding. Third understanding is that Krishna expressed his compassionate, his merciful nature towards helping others. So, like I mentioned about the Gladstone, the Prime Minister, who told him to do this? He himself chose. So Krishna chose himself to help others. So in order to help, it looks like he depends on the consort, he depends on the, if Madhumangal, if Sridham say, I'm not going to play anymore tomorrow, Krishna start crying. Why? I want to play, please, please, say you're going to play with me, please. And Krishna cries. Why? Why Krishna has to cry? Because Sridham said he's not going to play. Because he has also a nature to make other person in loving exchange feel comfortable. And this is his eternal nature, to help. So he wants to distribute his own ecstasy through Sridham. So he acts like he needs him, but actually it is for the benefit of that devotee. So this way also. And I will end here, unless we go to the second question, but maybe tomorrow. Is there any reflection or comment or question or anything? Pracheta Prabhu, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Really appreciate that we explain it. It makes us feel more, enthused, at least to practice Krishna consciousness, at least in my level, primary level, of course, trying to get together struggling with my senses. So anyway, the question I had is, I was reading a book other day, so always have refer from somewhere or somebody. So this case is in a book. I was reading, talking about when Krishna is having pastimes in Vrindavan, he's forgetting himself as the God, as you mentioned very well, with a lot of example and stuff. So, but we also see the time to time he's manifesting his supremacy or power as a God, so majesty in a many different occasions. So that, according to that Maharaj I was reading book from, he said to keep the balance, if always as a person away from the godness, the majesty, then it doesn't really make it more enjoyable. But when in a time to time he manifests his supremacy or as a god, then it makes it within the mixer, it makes it more enjoyable and sweet. So can you, if you don't mind, can you just explain a little bit of that, whether it does manifest, always remain within, of course, as you mentioned, but does it, he say he forgets, but does he forgets really, or how does
He forgets. He told Yogamaya, cover my omnisciency, so I can relish as an innocent, like regular human little child. But he is God, eternally God. That is never can be separated from him. He is God. It's not God and him is two different. No, he is, his body is him. His body is the God, supreme, ultimate, by himself, for himself, of himself. But to relish this beautiful pastimes, like for an example, take an example like after Nanda Maharaj went to take bath in after the Ekadashi finished. Is I believe 26th chapter, 27th chapter, or maybe 28th chapter, I think, in Krishna book or 10th canto. Then, so when they went to the Jamuna, they go like this, they put their finger on the ear and they look each other, Upananda, Sunanda, they're 5 brothers, Nanda Maharaj is the middle. and they go like this, they dip and come out, and they see, okay, he came out, then he goes down, then he like it, because it's still dark. Then one time, the Nanda Maharaj never came out. And all the brother finally say, what's going on? He said, Nanda Maharaj is not coming out. And if he doesn't come out, they cannot go down to take more dip, like. And he's not coming out, and he's not coming out. Then all of a sudden, time is passing, and they started worry, and they started crying because they love him. There's many reasons why they are in love with their brother so much. Then at one point, they started like feeling so deep attachment. At that time, they said that some other God allows to use Krishna, because they don't think he is God, allows Narayana tat samagune. This is the verse Gargacharya says. Narayana tat samagune. That Narayan used Krishna, through him he shows his power. So they called out Krishna. Even though Krishna is sleeping in Nanda Bhavan, from Jamuna is very far, but he heard it and he came, run. He said, what happened? He said, we missed Nanda Maharaj. So Krishna says, okay, I'll be back. Let me search underneath. So he went underneath, and then he went to Varuna Loka, where immediately as he entered, Nanda Maharaj was very surprised that they put his son in a big singhasan, and Nanda Maharaj is very happy to see his son. But before he gave an embrace or hug, the Varun Dev is immediately inviting him to get worship. And all they are worshipping and they're glorifying, you are the Supreme Lord. And Nanda Maharaj is thinking, do they know this is just my son? Maybe I thought Varun Dev is very intelligent, but some other, I don't know what is happening. It's a little bewildering. So he's experiencing, okay, maybe this little something untimely, at least let it pass by. So after a little while, Krishna says, Chalo Baba. Then he came back. Then he comes and he tells the story to Upananda and everyone. And Upananda immediately called the emergency meeting. And they all sat down. So then Nanda Maharaj says, what is the meeting about? He said, the subject you told me. This is the third time happened in very quick. Govardhan Lila, we saw what he did. Now we have a case, a solid case in the court. Nanda Maharaj is the judge, he's the king. And Upananda is one side, plaintiff and defendant. In the court, you have a two-party, plaintiff and defendant. So he said, I have a case. It's a case, okay, against who? Against you, the king. He said, how can you have a case against? Yes, we do. He said, what is the case? He said, from today, either you have to follow or you have to shape up. He said, what do I have to follow? He said, you cannot touch the ear of your son because he's God. He's supreme God for sure. You have to respect him. You have to really don't consider him as your son. And Upananda gave a whole lecture about how he knows Krishna is supreme God and he is the almighty powerful, wonderful greatness. And Nanda Maharaj at the end started laughing and cracking up. And Upananda got so angry. He said, I can't believe it. I'm trying to make you understand and you're joking, you're laughing. You're not taking it seriously. He said, because I heard, in Manusmriti says, when a man gets little over age, they get little Alzheimer. So maybe my elder brother, you have something like you're forgetting. He said, you call me Alzheimer? I have this problem. I'm talking about Krishna as a Supreme Lord. He said, where in the scriptures you see in the middle of the night there is a thunder and Krishna runs from his bed and knocks my door. Baba, I'm so afraid. You think his God will ever do this? Where do you come up with this? You think God will cry, oh, I'm so hungry. Oh, God will steal. God will lie. How you come up with this fantasy that Krishna is God? So both parties going and no solution. Then finally, Sananda, the youngest brother, he's the dearest to Krishna amongst the 5 brothers. Sananda comes and embraces Krishna. And, Krishna was not there. Sananda says, every time something happens, Krishna comes and embraces me. And he says, uncle, You are the only uncle in the whole creation. I don't know, I'll be bored without you. You are my everything. I feel lonely without you. Do you think God will ever say that? Of course not. Then he immediately composed a beautiful song. And he has a whole music party and they start singing in the court. Krishna is not God. We are all sure. Krishna is not God. That is our goal. And they make a whole song and the whole court dismissed with the beautiful song. They sing and they forget, okay, Krishna is not God. That's all. Now his supremacy will come back, just like you boil the milk. And you know, in India, when they boil milk, they put a straw. I don't know if you heard that example. They put a straw. I saw that even in Mayapur. When the milk overboil, but if you put some few straw, and then it does not overflow out of the pot. You ever saw like that? I don't know. So when they boil the milk, once in a while, this straw pops on the top. So they say Krishna's supremacy once in a while pops and everybody see it. Otherwise, nobody see it. This will be eternally like this. This will be eternally like this. This is the beauty. And it will never be reconciled. Krishna is God and not God, both. This is the Vrindavan conception. I hope you got some idea on it. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, we end here today and we'll meet again tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Vancha Kalpataru Vesha Kripa Sindhavaivacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama, Anantaguri Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gurudev Ki Jai, Gaur Pramanande.